Shows family. It's Nosa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I'm with the Carol Ann Cooper and Shireen Lovegrove. How are you, ladies?
We're great, thanks.
Yeah.
Not saying you.
I'm good, thank you. Good. So I got to look at Zoom because before I used to look on the left. It used to tell me on the left the message that is live. Now is on the right. So I got to get
all change. Yeah.
So yesterday I was like, okay, we're on the right now.
Okay.
Yeah, all changed. Yeah, so Carol Ann, let's go to the topic. The topic for today is why we thrive, the psychology behind purpose and happiness. That's Kamal.
Yes.
So why we thrive, the psychology behind purpose and happiness is an intriguing theme that taps into one of the most fundamental questions in human psychology. So what makes us truly happy and fulfilled? So today we're going to break down some essential psychological theories and concepts that can help explain the link. So I can see Kamal is just coming. Carol Ann, do you want to wait for him to explain the topic, or did you guys discuss about the topic?
I think he can discuss it because it was his topic. I just helped create the title, but it was, he wanted to talk about psychology of purpose and happiness. So, yeah. Great timing, Kamal. Ready to explain.
Just swans in here.
You chose the topic. Would you like to explain the topic to our audience?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. Just I just can't see myself, that's all. So I need...
We can see you. You don't need to see yourself.
Yeah, I have to make sure that I'm pretty and there's enough lighting and everything.
Oh,
right?
yeah. You look pretty.
Wait. I'll just adjust the lighting. There you go. That's a bit better. I'll take it out later.
It's perfect.
I'll take it the other side later on. All right. So,
your topic.
Yeah,
topic,
right.
Yes.
So, start.
So I was, the thing is, I was talking with a couple of friends the other day and colleagues at work, and a few things came up to mind, and I realized that this is not often spoken about. We have spoken about purpose several times. We've spoken about how it impacts our life. And then I thought maybe we should speak about the versions of happiness and purpose, as in it's a different concept. So if you talk about the psychology of purpose and happiness, because there's a psychology behind it, I think the easiest one to start off the audience with is if they know somebody or have seen somebody, or even if you are yourself have achieved stability, maybe a certain level of success. You've got a few boxes checked, like a good job, family, steady routine. And then somewhere along the line, you start feeling that there's something not there, like a sort of whisper maybe. Is this the routine? Is this everything that happens? Is this that we go through every day? And I know quite a few people have gone through that. I was lucky enough that from very early on, I knew what they call my calling or my purpose in a sense, or at least this is so far what I believe it is. Now, the idea behind this, because I know that a lot of people also don't think about purpose or how it relates to happiness, or either of them are related actually, because people tend to chase happiness, right? In our lives, we chase the things that we believe will bring us happiness: the new car, the new house, the promotion, the dream wife, husband, the dream vacation, right? And for a certain period of time, these things can be fulfilling, or make us feel good. I'm not going to say fulfilling, make us feel good. And so after a short while, it fades out, fades away, leaving you again in that phase of, okay, so I'm not happy and I want to find happiness again. I had it when I had this new car, new promotion, maybe a new car, maybe a new girlfriend or boyfriend or a new husband, wife, whatever it may be, right? So you're constantly seeking that dopamine of the new thing that might bring you happiness. And in a sense, I think a lot of people are conditioning themselves to believe that happiness is something, it's conditioned, as well as their purpose. And so there are different kinds of happiness, obviously. Some that are found in achievements, materialistic perspectives. But the happiness that I would like to talk about today with the purpose is the deeper kind, the kind that comes from living life purposefully. And so, yeah, long introduction, but that's what I had to say.
Absolutely. And it is, I love what you were saying about people would sort of seek happiness through material things or through people. It has to be something external to themselves that will give them happiness, and they're constantly chasing that, and then they get it for a fleeting moment.
Yeah.
And those moments can be, different lengths of time, but they don't last. And so, yeah, there is a deeper happiness that comes from within. And so exploring that and how is that connected to your purpose? Because what is a purpose, And I remember thinking, many, 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 many years ago, I loved teaching. I really loved it. I never thought I would ever leave it. But I did get to a point where I just remember thinking, there's something missing here. And it was when I discovered educational kinesiology brain gym, which supported my daughter through her struggle, that opened my eyes to something else that is possible. And so all of a sudden there's like, my world got turned upside down.
Yeah.
And you realize, no, there is more to life than this. Because I'd also remember thinking each month I've got a ceiling on my income. And it doesn't matter how much I do with teaching, I will never earn any more than I get. And I'm forever, we put more, as teachers, you put more and more in.
Yeah.
That you don't get any more money for it. And I remember thinking there has to be, there was that thought and that feeling, there has to be something. I just felt caged in that thought. So certainly that creeps in. And I think it probably wasn't long after that this experience with my daughter happened. So again, I think there's that answer. There is something else. So yeah, great topic to explore.
Yeah, it's a lovely topic, and it'll always take me back, obviously, to neurology. It'll always take me back to what is inherent in all of us, and we are designed. I mean, we are created to learn. We are created to learn. Our brain likes to change. That's where the dopamine hit keeps feeding it in. But part of learning and creating structure requires we stay the same. And over time, the more we stay the same, the harder it is to learn, the harder it is to change. So it's a kind of a way of, it's the paradox that sits in all of life, right? So all of life is about learning, it's about changing, it's about evolving, but we also need to be creating and holding and creating the structures that sit with that. So how do we manage those two? How do we hold the paradox of both of them so that we can move forward? And I think that, when I started looking at this topic, I've been reading a book by Annalise Scarron, who is really a spiritualist, and really talking about how when they were talking about Job in the Bible, and Job was upset and really anxious, really pissed off with God, really at the time. And God basically said, hey, you made the decision to come here. You made the decision to learn. You made the decision to know good from evil. You made the decision to become more. And that's really what sitting at the epitome of what this is all about, really. We are here to expand. From the moment we became, The moment we were conceived and we had that first heartbeat was the moment that everything started to fall into place and we started to evolve from that place.
Yeah.
And that means that we are always going to be seeking externally. But what we forget is that actually we are this blend of this paradox. We are the blend of these two things. We are a blend of spirit and we're a blend of our body, and we are here. Our soul is the creation of both. So when our soul says, hey, you're not learning enough, you're not doing enough, you're not doing what you promised to do, then we get unhappy. When we're doing what we promised to do, when we're in alignment with that, we naturally become happy.
Yeah.
And we don't see the lack because we're coming from happiness from a place of knowing, right? Where this is what I do. I'm not looking to say, oh, I've got to reach that bridge. I'm on my way to the bridge. It's a very different mindset when you think about it. I'm on the way rather than, oh, I've got to get there. So you're moving from an internal out. And I think that is really what we've got to start thinking about is where are we looking for the happiness from? And where are we thinking about happiness to? So if we can define those two things, then I think we might be able to come to that space where we can kind of connect to that deeper learning that we need, which is, that happiness is already here.
Yeah.
Happiness is already here. We just need to deal with it and create more. And I'm going to say create more of it rather than have more of it. Create it so that we become the creator that we are. What do you think, Nonsa?
Love that, Shireen. I love when you say God said you made the decision to become more. And you also said we are capable of becoming greater than we are. And what I have noticed, the more we want to be greater, the more problems piles up. Trust me, since I've been, like you mentioned, the soul, since I've been cleansing my soul and directing myself to the right direction where I'm supposed to be, I'm finding myself, because I'm like facing my purpose. I now understand that happiness is not found from material or from anything. Happiness is found within. I still be happy if I don't have nothing. I'll still be happy if my life will be happy the way it is. As long I'm going like wanting to be greater, but still the happiness, to me, I found my happiness. I'm happy. The more I dig deep, the more the problems pile up. And sometimes I look at myself, when Debbie won her title, I had someone emptying my bank account twice.
Oh my God.
And what else happened? I think there were so many things that were happening, and people were like coming in and telling me off. When she was on that stage, I looked at it and I said, God, is this what happiness looks like when we are fighting for happiness? Is this how our lives looks like? And I came to an understanding that by any chance, if I had, because when things like were piling up to me, to her, they were piling up as well. Honestly, things were like, it was both of us. And I was like, if by any chance we got angry or we did anything, like everything would have been dimmed. But it's just understanding that happiness, like Kamau says, that happiness is found within, it's not conditions. So you just have to find your own happiness. And Carol Annie, you've talked about your daughter's experience, how we changed your destiny. Sometimes the problems that comes in our way while we are fulfilling our purpose, we think they are problems, but they are actually, it's a breakthrough that is actually helping us to find who we are, who we truly are. So it is actually, I was telling my daughter just before we came live, because my daughter had made a decision. She wants to do the economics. She wants to be an investment banker. But when she was young, she always singing about going into politics and stuff. So one of the university she applied for politics, and then all of them she applied for the thing that she thinks she wants to do, but one of them what she wanted to do when she was young. So I was laughing. I was like, so this is how destiny is going, because I actually been praying for God to her soul to take her to where she's meant to be, not where her friends are going. So I was like, Kamal says not to find my purpose. Kamal, that's why I don't find it. I don't put this topic.
Yeah. Because you keep
here, because I always hear your voice. Purpose is no, you don't look for it.
You don't look for it. It's there. And that's the whole thing. And quite a few things that you, Shireen, mentioned. You said it's an amalgamation. The word just doesn't want to come out now. Amalgamation of
Did I say amalgamation?
Yeah, of different things and
combination,
different aspects of our life, and that actually brings me to one of the points that I wanted to talk about is, okay, so we can view purpose and happiness from one perspective, which is fine. It's our own perspective. Everybody sees things in their own definition of things, of purpose and life and whatever you want to, and then you become a little bit like, I'm going to say, closed-minded, because you can't see the full picture, right? And so I thought maybe if we look at it from different cultures, what purpose and happiness means for different cultures, and how, when combined, it can actually make a big difference. So, for instance, we can talk about purpose in Western cultures, right? Or happiness. Let's start with happiness, because that's a bit easily to take on. Happiness is usually connected to personal fulfillment. It's tied to the individual, their achievements, and the idea of reaching a certain goal where will lead you to that happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so psychologists like what was his name? Maslow, Abraham Maslow, right? Call this self-actualization. And then with his story of like the pyramid of needs that I don't agree with. And the idea that true happiness actually comes when one fulfills one's own potential and realizes their personal dream. So that's one point of looking at it, right? And yet, if you look at the Eastern world, Far East, China, Japan, India, happiness is about contribution to the collective good. You have Buddhists, right? Teaches you that true happiness isn't about your own achievement, but it's about reducing the suffering for ourselves and others. So, in essence, we help others to live a life of compassion and achieve the ultimate peace, right? Quite a big difference and contrast between the both of them. And then I thought I'd bring in a third idea that isn't talked about, but perhaps we can talk about the indigenous and African wisdoms, right? And so many cultures, many indigenous and African cultures, they see purpose as something like a weave. It's woven together. Yeah, that's the word. Woven. I always mispronounce that word. With your role in the community, as well as you lifting others. So a combination of, for instance, what you do for the community, and also that Buddhism mentality of helping others to help yourself. And for those of you that are in Linux and like other operating systems, there's the concept of Ubuntu. And that concept is I am because we are, right? It's a philosophy of happiness, that shared humanity and the connections we nurture within our community brings us happiness. So there are different aspects of that happiness and purpose that we can discuss, right? And of course, there's the psychological, but I'll leave it. I'm sure I've said quite a few things for you guys to pick and choose and talk about. I'm sure I can see both of you actually. Caroline is writing down some notes, and Shireen, I saw your eyes going all over the place. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, they do go all over the place because it's really interesting. Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting topic when you start to explore it a little bit more. Yeah,
yeah, and I jot in notes then because it's like yeah, for me it helps me just to remember but anchor in what's being said, and it's like that. Okay, 1, 2. Oh, there's another one. You actually went to purpose. So in a sense, I'm hearing that purpose is what actually generates the happiness. We're about that it being woven together with community and themselves.
That's if you pick from all the cultures, right?
Yeah. But this I am because we are, that I know that's got a lovely feel to it. I am because we are.
Mm-hmm.
There's that real connectedness, and yet we are so disconnected, aren't we? Generally, it's always about, well, what can I achieve? What can I do? And I think this is where the shift with business, in a sense, is gone from that. Oh, I can't think of the word.
it's a hierarchical
Competition
Competition
to collaboration and partnership and working together. And I think that is really a great shift. And
yeah,
I think, again, there's a part of, I have a purpose here in a sense of collaboration, working together so that we are as one and we're working towards the same thing. I heard some, is it Nomsa said that you say, Kamal, purpose is there, don't look for it.
Yeah, you don't find, like, this is why
must be, I sort of have a sense of, well, okay, don't look for it. But if you don't look for it, you're not going to see it. How do you get to know it?
It's within you.
I know it's within you,
and that's why.
But you still need to become aware of it.
You have to
unleash
it. Not disagreeing there. I'm disagreeing with all the people that write and say, find your purpose, discover your purpose. There's nothing to find, there's nothing to discover. It's right there. You just need to.
It's coming into awareness of it.
Exactly.
It's an awareness of.
You still need to be aware of it.
Uncovering of what you already have. There's a gift there. It's covered. You need to uncover it to figure out what it is.
Because it's already there. You're already running the purpose.
And that's what I see it as. Yes, it's not. So it is, again, it's just a whole languaging it, isn't it? And how people think. So this is what makes people search for it, because you've got to find it. You've got to look for it. But it is within you. And it's unlocking it, it's uncovering it. And it's like, well, okay, so how can people become aware of it? Because it is here, and I think it comes down to, well, what are you driven to do, and what actually there's this element of how you feel in your body. If there's discomfort, then you're not on the right track. If there's tension and you've got to force something, then that's not aligned with purpose. So really, it's coming back to the body. It's very much, for me, about what's going on in your body. And if there is push and shove and you're really trying, then there's something is out of alignment. You're not on purpose. If there's relaxation, there's peace, there's joy, and there's happiness.
Exactly.
You're in alignment. It's just, it just happens. So I think for me, this is the indicator, is the body. So yeah, what's your thought, Shireen?
I absolutely agree
see?
with you. With the way that we know where we are and when we're on track is the feeling, the felt sense, the embodiment of that godlike state, right? I'm just really curious about what Kamal came in and talked about, because I am because we are, and I think that's a really important thing. And I also think that we come as separate first, right?
Yeah.
We come as individuals first. But if you look at any child, they are always sharing.
Yeah.
They always share. It's when they get older that we start to kind of then go back to that individualized kind of aspect of ourselves. So I think there's some truth in, yes, I am, because we are, but I think we mustn't dissolve ourselves totally in that, because if our purpose becomes everybody else's purpose, we can have a collective purpose, but we can have our own individual purpose within that collective. So if you're a great doctor, right, then you do your work within the collective, right? You work with the collective as that sense of purpose and being. So I think it's really recognizing that when you're doing your work is, why are you doing it and who are you doing it for? And that's really the key, isn't it? And if it makes you feel fulfilled, makes you feel whole, it makes you feel happy, and it gets you out of bed excited, right? Then you're on track. You're on track for the sense of what your purpose is. I think a lot of people don't realize when we said, oh, we chose to come here, every experience that we have in our life has driven our purpose.
Yeah.
Every experience. I remember having someone that I was chatting to a little while ago, and she said she couldn't find her purpose, but she had had a daughter that was having a lot of problems and all sorts of stuff, and she had resolved a lot of issues with that and dealt with the thing because her daughter was quite sick. She had been sick as a child, and so because she had been sick as a child, she was able to really hold and maintain this child. And it was really interesting later on. I just said, maybe there's something related to this. And I think, why would you have been sick? Why would your daughter have been sick? And so that you could do this. And later on, she went and spoke to somebody, went and did a course with someone else because she didn't listen to me. And she came back and she told me exactly what I had told her, as though it was something new, right? So, and that was really reaffirmed for me, that we live our purpose. We cannot be what we're not, right? And it's really interesting when you start to look at this. Like, I have always been interested in medicine, like my partner will go and look at these little things, but I pick up anything to do with that kind of information. It's like that. I pick it up. Neurology, I pick up anything that is of that interest that keeps telling me, yes, this is your purpose. Your purpose is aligned with this, right? So anything that takes me outside that doesn't fit the purpose. And that then makes me struggle, and that makes it hard.
Yeah.
But the moment I get involved and I really enjoy doing something, and I go into that kind of meditative, happy state while I'm working with my clients, I'm happy. And then I know that I'm living my purpose. I know that I'm with that person and I'm on purpose. So, and yes, then you're happy.
You reminded me now when you're talking, when you're doing something that you love and you're in your purpose, you're happy there, you have joy. And I can't remember who said that, but the quote goes, do a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, because you can work endlessly, because you're not working with force. You're working from the soul, right?
Exactly.
And the soul is boundless in its energy.
Mm.
So, and I picked up on what you were saying about not forgetting them yourself when you're like in that giving of the others, right? If you look at the Japanese, the ikigai, right? It's their purpose, it's their flower purpose, whatever it is. It's based on 4 concepts: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and then at the bottom, what you can get paid for. Right? And it's all about love and what you are good at, what the world needs, something that you can provide, right? You can find between what you love and what the world needs, that is a mission, right? A mission in your life. Between what you love and what you are good at, this is your passion. Between what you're good at and what you can get paid for, it's your profession, and what you can get paid for, but also the world needs, this is like a vocation, this is extra. And right in that center, between those four circles, is your ikigai, is your purpose.
It's your
And
sweet spot.
exactly, completing it, it's that circle that completes everything, where within that there is your purpose, there is your happiness. Because at every moment of your life, whatever you're doing, whether it's getting paid for something that you're good at, getting paid for something that you love, doing something for others, you're still doing it for yourself in contrast. And so happiness exists automatically anytime.
Yeah,
This is my
it
belief as
becomes
well.
of itself, doesn't it?
Exactly.
I suppose what I'm hearing for me is that happiness becomes a living thing.
Exactly, that's it.
So it and you know, even though you go through dark times, you will find there's still that light that keeps burning, that sense of, and that brings in gratefulness, that brings in all those things that we learn, right? Which we must use. But it becomes natural then. It becomes natural to be thankful. It becomes natural because we're living happiness.
One of the simplest things, it becomes natural to be walking around smiling and people looking at you like, why are you smiling? It's like, why not?
Yeah. No, so, you know.
Sometimes, yes, I sometimes I look at this people that says I'll be happy when I found this, or when I found a girlfriend, or I'll be happy when I found a husband, or I'll be happy when my business, or when I do this. I'm thinking that's not how you find happiness. Anyway, my happiness, it destroyed my relationship with the Hope's dad. He couldn't understand why I was always happy. And I was like, I had to explain to him that I come from Africa. You know, when we come from Africa, when you are born, you get taught happiness. You got to be happy, even if, because material makes people happy, but the happiness is found within. And I was like, that's how I was raised, just to be happy. My parents taught me to be happy within myself. And I was like, you don't take life very serious. I was like, you have no idea. I take life very, very serious. But there's one thing that I don't do. I don't go with problems. I found a solution, and God is my happiness. He gives me happiness. And whenever I feel sad, I know that happiness is within me. My purpose is within me. I just have to stay focused. Because if you look at it, like, there's people, when I started my business, these people, they started being a coach for this, a coach for that, a coach for that. And now I don't know how many times they've changed their minds, becoming that one, that one. When I meet them, I'm like, oh, how is the business? Oh, like, oh, that one is no longer exist. I'm like, oh, I get confused. But what I've realized about life is, since I've been doing this cleansing life, you got to stay focused, because the problems, they're not really presented as problems. They are there to get you out of your focus. If you are not strong enough, you could easily leave someone else's purpose, not your own purpose. And that's why too many people, they say they have too many problems, because they are not really living their lives. I was doing, because my pastor teaches us how to cleanse your soul, and cleansing your soul, it means your body has to be in the original place. Your purpose, your intelligence, it has to come out of the person you are meant to become. And then I was doing that, and then I'm like looking at people's, like, people are showing up, their souls are showing up. I'm like, what are they doing here? So I'm like confused. Like, the more I clear them out, the more my head is clearing up. Like, I'm becoming the person that I am supposed to become. But they're dimming my life. Like I don't know how they end up here with me, or is it the people that are angry with me? I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. I'm like, what is this person doing here? They're not meant to be with me. They're meant to be with themselves. But I think they left the part of them with me. And that part of them is tormenting me without me knowing. So I think finding your purpose is knowing who you are and knowing where you're going. Mostly our purpose is when we were young, because when we were young, when we were a child, is the real original you. It's not fake, it's authentic. Everything you do is authentic. Like everything that I'm doing now is the things that I did with my granddad when I was young. There's nothing, I've just put one thing in one place and I'm just coaching people. Even Debbie, when she was on stage holding that crown, I was like, she's not actually here for me to make money with her. Something, somehow, someone is trying to show me my destiny. This is the person that I am. So I was like, after I said, you need to take me home now, because she's from Kenya. So I was like, take me to the land of my ancestors. Honestly, yeah, I think the more you do things, the more you stay focused, the more you actually fight through problems, the more the real you comes out. But if you are a follower, this is where your soul gets confused. This is where come out people end up saying, I need to find my purpose, but their purpose is actually within them. You just need to bring it out, unleash it, so you become the person that you are becoming. It's like Martin is actually getting confused with me. He's like, this is not the person that I met, but this is the person that he actually met. I have not changed in nothing. I am just growing and just working on myself and just living the life and refusing. Like as a woman, I'm standing in my own lane and I'm refusing to follow anybody else. If somebody asks me to follow, I'm like, hang on a minute. I need to check with God and check with my soul. Is this where I'm supposed to be? Even when my business doesn't go well, I'm like, hang on a minute, business. Let me stand still and just check on my purpose. Am I in the right direction? And then I keep going. And I find that when I stand still, this is where the breakthrough comes in to show me that you are in the right direction. And then I'm looking and I'm like, if I'm not strong, I would have just gone that way. So it's not easy. Following your purpose, whatever come out that is, it ain't an easy game, trust me.
I didn't say it was easy. I said it's there. You just need to, like Caroline said, you have to be aware. You have to be willing to dig. I think I mentioned it several times. There was research done and studies done, and I think it's the statistics were, again, they're statistics, so it's a specific number of people. But if you generalize the statistics on the majority, the statistics was between 89 to 92% of people just live their life as it is. They don't seek change. They don't seek improvement. They don't understand what their existence is meant for, to put it in other terms, in simpler terms, right? And unfortunately, as human beings, we are bombarded with ads alike, and we are bombarded with ads that use that term happiness to convey a message. And so it's forced upon us by society, even by parents, by teachers, by mentor. Well, not good mentors, right? Where they tell you happiness is just around the corner. They want you to reach for that certain goal, become a CEO, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a whatever it is, be successful in that, right? Achieve that next big thing. There was an ad a long time ago. They do this ad with house. The happy family house is right around the corner. Go and buy it, right? And so it creates a myth in our mind that leads you to think that happiness is once you're successful or when you have something, right? Mostly success, right? And because of there are certain studies, research and studies by doctors, right? Done. There's a psychologist, Lubomovsky. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Lubomsky, yeah. She presented in her study that people that achieve their goals by buying new things they get a spike in their happiness. And then we go into, I mean, we can stay on forever on this topic because this is your expertise, Shireen, right? It's neurology, it's the serotonin, the dopamine, and the oxytocin, right? So she was saying that when buying new items or achieving success, your happiness gets a spike, but it's a temporary spike, right? And after a while, it fades away. And I think she called it hedonic adaptation. Was it?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. And so you get used to quick pleasures. You get used to them. And after a while, you're back to square one where you're searching for, you want a new craving. What's the next craving? What am I going to do after that, right? And in my opinion, the truth is that, again, same as purpose. Real happiness is not found. It's not found in things or in status. It's in a meaningful relationship, in actions that bring purpose to your life, right? That align with your core values, with your beliefs. So in another way, if you ask yourself, what will make me happy? That's not the right question. I think people should ask themselves, what gives my life meaning? And very few people ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because it
agree
is
with you.
that pursuit of purpose that actually gives you some stability, and it gives you much more long-term fulfillment. And that happiness then comes through that. Whereas, as you were saying, it's that the spike, the peaks. They chase something because you get that happiness and then it's gone, and you chase it again. And so it's doing a switch, isn't it? It's flipping over to, well, what is my purpose, and actually being in that, but not even maybe asking that question. It's just being, well, what, as you were saying, Shireen, experiences drive our purpose. For me, I guess I thought, or is it our purpose drives our experiences, and through our experiences that it shows what our purpose is. That's what sort of flipped round in my head. But it is actually looking at, well, what experiences are you having in life? Because in there, your purpose is actually, for me, I think that's what's driving and what brings up
purpose
those
is honing
experiences.
you, is moving you forward.
Yes.
It's cleaving you towards it.
That's
in
right.
a strange kind of way, if you're willing to hear it.
Yes. Hear it, see it, experience it, be with it, stay with whatever that feeling is in that moment, and just allow yourself to drop into what's even deeper there. Because there's your purpose, and there's that satisfaction, that fulfillment. It's like, oh, it is something deeper, and it is much more sustaining. So there was something that you said something about where we go back to ourselves. At one point as children, we perhaps are more aware of others, but then there's a point we go, it's all about ourselves. And I sort of had that thought, well, I wonder how much this whole competition malarkey at school, where you're competing to get the best grades, you're competing for jobs, or you're competing for places at university or college, or the next, competition, it brings it back to you completely, and not the collective. I mean, team sports for me, that brings out a collectiveness, because it's a team. It's working together to achieve something. So I personally love team sports, but there's a lot of individuals in there. And I know in my grandson's basketball team, there are those that aren't team players. And they get the ball and they're the one that's got to, and then they get all the way down there and then they miss. But someone actually they could have passed it to, could have got it in, and it's having awareness of people around you in your team that can support you. And I think this helps you with your purpose. So who around you are there for you, but you feel like you're competing with them, you're ignoring them, but they could actually support you with your purpose. What are those goals that you're wanting to shoot and get? And actually, you don't need to shoot for, because someone else can take the shot for you. You just have to pass the ball, and it happens. And as a team, you go, wow, there's a win there, and that actually has far more success, happiness for me. There's that achievement that you can together. We did this together, rather, well, I did that. It was one person. There's no real deep satisfaction there. So I think there's something there. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I think
they're all important.
Part of it. Yeah.
I think they're all important, because I do think competition and collaboration are basically two sides of the same damn coin, right? I think the whole point of knowing that we can compete is that so that we can do better, right? Not that we do better to power over, but to power with. And I think that's the thing, that's what we've been taught, that competition is about winning and beating and being the best, but not realizing that actually it's just really meant to be a gauging for yourself, that yes, I've got better than other people, but that's because I'm improving. I'm getting better for myself, so that I can then help somebody else, right? So I then become nice and happy, that I then help uplift other people. But when we do it that we want to fight and be the only one, that's when it becomes more of a problem. But I think proper competition, well-adjusted competition, is actually collaboration, because you're collaborating with that person so that you can compete with them. You're collaborating and admiring each other for your strengths, right? So I think that's what often happens in games, is people go into the kind of war crime stuff, and they forget, why are we doing this? We're doing this so that we can show each other. We can learn, even the losers, we can still learn from them. We can still learn some skills, look for the things that we didn't see, those kinds of things, which I think can be very powerful. I want to come back to Kamal about the meaning, finding meaning. Why am I trying to strive? Find the meaning for that. Why am I wanting my team to do well? Find the meaning. What is the purpose of winning? What's the meaning for me? If we focus on that word meaning rather than purpose, because I think sometimes purpose has a negative connotation.
Yes.
Right? Because it can make us very egocentric. Instead of going, okay, if my life is meaningful, then that in itself is a purpose, right? Because now I'm living purpose, I'm living it. And I really think we must think about the living it rather than trying to get it, trying to uncover it, live it. So when we get a sense of what it is, we live it. The dopamine is really important. And why I'm saying meaning is important is because meaning builds serotonin. Serotonin gives us a sense of enoughness. Serotonin makes us more collaborative. It gives us that ability to be able to switch and fix in a different way in our brain. When people are very rigid, often you find their serotonin levels are low. So it's serotonin that actually helps this to give us that state of enoughness, which then means that we're coming from a place of wholeness before we move into anything else. I just keep thinking of a story that I keep thinking about today, which was about when we go and do something. I don't know if you know, in the Bible, there's a story of the 12 spies. The 12 spies were the spies that went out just before the 40 years in the desert. And these spies went into a town to have a look to see what it was like. When they came back, well, 12 were there. When they came back, 9 of them said, no, we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. You know, all sorts of bad things. But there were 3 that said, no, this is a good opportunity. And then they worked out what had they done differently. And the spies that had said, no, this is a great opportunity, had gone and prayed beforehand. They went and they stopped and they were quiet and said, let me see the blessings of what is here. What is the meaning that this is here for? What can I learn? How can I grow? All of those kinds of things. So when they looked at that response, they started to notice, well, hey, isn't this what we should be doing in anything? Like coming onto a broadcast, coming and talking, coming and doing something, taking the moment before, just to say that silent prayer, which Nomsa said earlier on, I go into the stillness, right? Going into the stillness and connecting, what's the meaning here? What's meaningful here then brings a sense of joy. It brings a sense of fulfillment. And that builds your serotonin spike. So you don't get you may have those hedonistic moments, but you don't drop to the low.
Yeah.
You drop down a bit and you stay in that lovely space of continued movement, to continued forward movement. So there's a really important aspect when we look at happiness and what it does for us. Happiness is the serotonin level.
I like when you conveyed the message of meaning, and I think the French express purpose in that meaningful way, and it's called raison d'être, which is reason
to live. Yeah.
For being. To live becomes more intense, right?
Yeah.
But if you translate it verbatim, être is to be, the reason.
Be.
Right? That brings meaning in life. That's okay. What's your existence has a meaning. It's not just to live and have kids and then die, or not have kids, or be with somebody, or it's not that. There's more to life than this.
I think we mustn't diss it. I think a mother can be an absolute person with meaning.
It's not what
but I think it's important to say what she's looking and imagining is her child having potential.
Exactly.
To choose what they want.
And how to fulfill that, how to
choose that.
How to choose that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I was thinking as well about what you were saying, Caroline, about the competition. You were mentioning competition at school and others, and this is also part of that meaning where people misunderstand the concept of competition, right? Competition is with yourself, it's not with others. And that's a part that is taught in the philosophy of martial arts, even though there is competition. Like, for instance, I don't believe in competition because it's competing to prove that you are better than others. The whole concept of it is to prove that you are better than yourself from the last time that you attended, from the last time that you did something.
And the evidence is winning, right? Or the evidence
is it not how you translate the results? Because even the loser is not really a loser.
No.
The loser gets to realize he's got to work harder, right?
Yeah, I don't think, for me personally, I don't think that the person that loses, they're actually a loser. It's how you see it yourself and how you move forward in translating the results. Exactly. But I personally think that it's like everything that I do, even with my children, I never, like when I go to God, I never ask God to give me something, or if my children are doing something, or if I'm asking for money, I never ask for money, but I always ask for the light. I realize that every time I ask for the light, he actually gives me favor where I don't expect favor. So meaning that it's like this girl that she won the competition, her mom was praying, everyone around her were praying, and I wasn't sleeping, I was praying all night, but I wasn't praying for the competition, I was praying for the light, because I need the light to change things around my life. But when we were there, I realized that these girls had no chance. I was like, the way I was asking God, I was like, they had no chance because I was asking the light of God to come here, and her mom was asking for the light. And me, I sort of went staying all night, and the pastors teaching me exactly what I needed the light to shine. But for me, even with my children, because I've seen them when they go on stage, when the Holy Spirit takes over, the teachers, they end up saying, whatever that was happening on stage, I don't have an idea what was happening, but it's not what I taught you. But it was magnificent. And they get confused. And I'm like, this is God, like saying, showing me that you don't win because you have the power to win or how good you are. Wherever I am, there's glory. So that's how I've come to understand. But before, I used to say my children are so good. But now, but you have to work hard. God does not show up for lazy people. You have to work hard. The more you work hard, the more He shows up to put the light on top of what you've done.
It's a
So,
partnership.
yeah, so for me, the purpose is, if you know your purpose, guys, for everyone that is watching, don't give up your purpose or try to go to do other things because this thing, your talent, your gift, you feel that is not working. It's hard to get to where you need to be. It's not easy. Anyone can say, even the billionaires can testify that becoming the person you want to become is not an easy game. So I hope you guys are going to learn from this topic of Kamau, and I hope he is going to choose more topic of the purpose, because I think people, they need love, they need purpose, they need to know where they will need to go with their destiny. And you need to show up very often, Kamau, so you can help our audience with their purpose.
I
You've
will.
been told there, Kamale.
Hey.
Yeah. So we're going to
I think
leave
for me,
something.
that was my words of encouragement, guys.
Yes, yeah.
To you.
Okay. So I think I've got a few quotes that I sort of looked at today, and one is by the Dalai Lama. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your actions. So again, it's that, don't be lazy, don't sit around and wait for it. You do need to take action. And the other one was, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. And that's by Albert Schweitzer. So there's a thought there, again, it's about taking action, doing what you love, and happiness is a byproduct. So just keep doing what you love. And if you're not doing what you love, what is it that's stopping you? And work with that and look at that and go, okay, so are you happy? What are you doing that you're not loving? And if there's I have to do this, well, you don't have to do anything. There's a choice. And it's looking at what is going on in your life and really breathe into that. And if you feel so stuck with it, reach out. We're here. We can support you through it. You do not have to do this on your own. As we were talking about, it's collaborative. So join in the collaboration.
And I'm just going to go with one thing, which keeps popping up: Mary Poppins, which is in every job that must be done. There is an element of fun. And you find this fun, and snap, the jobs becomes a game, and it becomes meaningful. So if you look for what is in that job, even if, no matter how mundane it is, no matter how irritating it is, look for the spike of fun. It will bring meaning to that. And in that moment, time will disappear. You will be in that moment, and you will be in creation. So yeah, look for the fun. That will bring the dopamine. That will bring the serotonin, and that's into the nothingness.
I'm going to gather what all of you said, and of course leave people with a quote as well. The truth is, happiness and purpose, they're simply the choices that we make, the moments we create, and the actions that we take every day. So I'd like our audience today to remember that every small moment or a purposeful act that contributes to a greater sense of meaning. You have the power to bring happiness and purpose into your life. And it doesn't matter really where you begin, right? What matters is what you do. You have some of our words, you have books and media and things to understand deeper. And I'll be coming on and talking more in depth about this. And I'll leave you with a personal favorite, Viktor Frankl. He said, life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by the lack of meaning and purpose.
And he was in a concentration camp,
In the
wasn't he?
concentration camps.
He was in the concentration camp and visualized himself out.
Yes, and that's how he wrote his book, Man's Search for Purpose, right?
Yeah.
How he proved that people that had in the concentration camps that had purpose in their life, had meaning in their life, they managed to survive all of these dreadful circumstances, right? Wonderful book.
Yeah. Amazing. And what was so amazing was that by just simply having that purpose, he could as he started to visualize, all the things around him started to fall in place, like Nomsa was talking. Exactly. When you start to have that meaning and you create something, you are inviting the spirit, you're inviting God. Well, he was Jewish, he was religious, but you were inviting the Holy Spirit in. Definitely. And then magic starts to happen.
Thank you so much, guys. If you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching, subscribe and share. And LinkedIn, please share and follow us as well. Be part of the family. If you're on Facebook, please, we have 2 groups, Unique Billionaire Mindset and Gossip Talk Shows. Join the groups and be part of our family. Like our page and share our videos, please. Spread the Gossip Talk Shows family. Let us become bigger family. And please do go on the website as well. If you're looking for love, sign up. And where it says apply, if you're looking to find your own voice and lead from within, go where it says let's talk. I will see you on the other side.